I didn't grow up with social media. We didn't have a TV in our house. I had my surgery and I couldn't do anything. I had a school iPad and I started watching these YouTubers and I was like, this looks like a lot of fun. Maybe I should try it. So I started it and then it grew.
She didn't build a brand, she rebuilt herself. JustJules turned heartbreak, healing, and hard truths into a voice millions connect with. Unfiltered, funny, spiritual, and brutally honest. What's the question that everyone asks about how to grow on YouTube? What's the most surprising answer you give them?
Consistency. You have to be very consistent and also very courageous. Just don't overthink. Just post it. When you're starting out, focus on being true to yourself, also posting consistently. The social media industry is constantly coming up with new things. You can always go on to that trend.
She reminds us that growth is messy and authenticity is radical. Her message isn't about perfection, it's about owning every part of your story, even the parts you're scared to say out loud.
Most people think that they're going to go viral as soon as they start. No, it's a process. It's like a roller coaster. There are so many different people on social media, so you're bound to find your audience. Choose something that you love, because if you don't, you're going to be doing something you hate for the rest of your career. Don't put too much pressure on yourself and just keep going and never give up.
So Jules, you're writing a book at 16 about how to grow on YouTube. So what's the question that everyone asks about how to grow on YouTube, and what's the most surprising answer you give them?
Yeah, usually the question is how to go viral. How do I go viral? And I think my answer is consistency. You have to be very consistent and also very courageous, because Aristotle once said that courage is the most important virtue. But you just have to be courageous and put yourself out there.
Was that easy or tough for you when you first started? Because now I know you've put out like what, 60 pieces of content? Is it like a week, a day? Like I feel like
It's like seven pieces, like 7 shorts a day.
that's an insane amount of video content. Like maybe if you were tweeting, but this is video content, it's edited video content. So this shows what consistency actually looks like. 7 pieces a day. So consistency and sort of just
Putting yourself out there. Don't be embarrassed.
I think a lot of people have a problem with that though. Like they get in their own head. So talk me through like the first week you started posting. Talk me through like what was going on in your head. Were you comfortable? Were you scared of posting on the internet? Like what was that emotion?
Yeah, when I first started YouTube, I was very scared because I used to be in a gymnastics team, right? And I knew that they were going to find my YouTube channel and like, you know how teenagers are these days, they make fun of you for stuff like this.
Teenagers have never changed, by the way. Not just these days, like they would make fun of you 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Okay, well, I was scared of being made fun of. But then I left that gym and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start, because if I don't start, I'm never going to be where I want to be. So I just started and I was like, who cares if like they find it,
First videos you ever created, what were they about? Like, were you just like, I'm just going to record my life and upload? Or did you have like a strategy behind it? Or first of all, I actually love the way you think. I need to start. If I don't start, I'm not going to get there. So I'm just going to take massive amounts of action. But what did that sort of first few videos look like?
Yeah, so my first my first video ever was a Taylor Swift edit. It was like, how similar are you to Taylor Swift? I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but it was during the Eras tour. So I was like, oh, this is a genius idea. Plus, I was in a programming camp, and they're like, oh, we're going to make our own YouTube channel, and you're going to upload a video. We're going to teach you how to do it. So I was like, okay, let me just do this. I posted it, and it went viral. And I was like, oh, this is so funny. But I didn't start posting consistently until the end of the year, because I was studying for the SAT test. So I had to focus on my school, right? But so I started posting consistently in December when I got my surgery for my shoulder, and my mom took a video of me after anesthesia, and I was just saying random stuff, and she recorded that. I was like, this is hilarious. So I posted on YouTube, and then it went viral, and that's kind of how it started.
And that's when you were like, okay, this could actually turn into something real.
Yeah, so I didn't even know you could get monetized on YouTube. So my initial, my goal when starting my YouTube channel was just to motivate other people to chase after their dreams.
So, okay, so how long was that time from just starting to when you started to take it seriously? There was a couple months.
Starting, I think it was June or July.
And then December.
Yeah, posting consistently December, yeah.
You know what's wild? So you didn't know you could get monetized on YouTube?
No, until I actually got monetized.
That's wild, because I don't know the data, but I've heard that more and more like younger kids and teenagers, when you ask them what they want to do for a living, they say like content creator.
Yeah, YouTuber, yeah.
Right? Which is wild because obviously, like, I'm 35. That was not a thing when I was in high school at all. I mean, I was like the first generation of Facebook and Instagram and social media, and obviously older than me didn't even know what content was. But now people want to be YouTubers and they want to be content creators. So you actually didn't.
I didn't know that it could actually be a career. Plus, I didn't grow up with social media. We didn't have a TV in our house.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about social media until I got bored because I had my surgery and I couldn't do anything. So I went on to social media. I had a school iPad and I started watching YouTube, and I started watching these YouTubers, and I was like, you know what? This looks like a lot of fun. Maybe I should try it since I have nothing else to do. So I started it, and then it grew. I can't remember when exactly, but it was I think it was 2024. At the beginning of the year, I got monetized. I was like, wait, I can make money? And I started making like a ton of money. I was like, this is insane. And then my parents started helping me with the bank account and
Well, yeah,
with
because then you have to turn it into a business too, right?
exactly, setting up an LLC.
Do you think that because, do you think that some people, when they start content, um, maybe they take it a little bit too seriously? You know what I mean? Like maybe they're trying like a little bit too hard, and maybe that actually lowers the quality of their content and like the realness. Like if I said I want to become a content creator and I want to build a business around content, then you put all these like expectations
On
on yourself.
Yes.
And I think that just like listening to your story, you didn't even have a TV in your house. So you were like the anti-content, anti-media person.
I was so anti like TikTok, anti Instagram, and anti YouTube. So the fact that I'm a YouTuber now and a TikToker is like, it's so ironic, but
But it's because you didn't have pressure on yourself.
right, yeah, I was just myself, you know.
And that's what I think people have a really hard time with. I think they have a really hard time with being themselves, especially when they start. I think that they get scared of like putting themselves out there, and then they add these expectations on, and then they consume so much content. So they're like, oh my God, like, how do I make sure my stuff's going to go viral? And
Yeah,
they
and
try
they're
and like overthink it. And I think you just didn't overthink it. You just
Yeah, I
didn't
just
care.
did it. Just did it. Yeah.
When you think about the strategy, is there more strategy now behind your stuff?
I think there is, just because I have to work around a lot of other things like my school and my aviation programs and stuff.
By the way, okay, so before we even talk about content strategy, you are a very impressive individual, because I think this will like sort of tee up who you are as a person for the people who don't know you and haven't seen your content. So you can go through some of these things with me, but you were an incredible gymnast. I don't know all the rankings for gymnastics, but from what I read, like incredibly good.
Yeah. Thank
Much
you.
better than me. And listen, like I think I tried like gymnastics once when I was like 10 years old, and like I fell off like a beam and like winded myself, and then
Beam?
or yeah,
Boys don't do beam.
I don't know. Listen, I played hockey. That was like my thing growing up.
Okay, hockey's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. But the point is, you were very good. I guess I'm assuming you still are, because you had this shoulder injury at 14. You're only 16, which is wild. You're a sophomore in college at 16. You're studying aviation. Your dad's a pilot.
Yes, my dad's an airline pilot.
So I'm assuming that there's some sort of influence there as to why that's something that's interesting to you. What else do you do that's really cool? So you want to be a pilot. You're a super impressive content creator. You're way ahead of your time in college, right? Like 16, you're in college. I think for the normal person, 16 is like what, grade 10 or something like that, or grade 11?
11th grade, I think. Or
it depends
10th
on
grade, yeah.
when you were born, but yeah.
Yeah.
So you are like just a very ambitious person. In general, you're a very ambitious person. I think that you have four life goals: airline pilot, social media, National Geographic
National Geographic
photographer, or military. Okay, so
yeah, so those are like my life.
there's a lot here. There's a lot here.
And also a New York Times bestselling author.
I love that. Yes, New York Times bestselling author. But I bucket that into the content creator thing. So I'm trying to figure out how you think and how you operate and how you're so ambitious at such a young age. Like where does this drive, this passion come from? Because it's also impressive because it's hard, but it's impressive to be good at multiple things.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I think it's very hard for most people. I think that most people diversify too much. They try and do everything well. I think that most people should just focus. Like
just
you
focus
should be
on one thing, yeah, and be really good at
great
it.
at school, great at content creation, even within content creation. Most people, I wouldn't say go build a YouTube channel and write a book at the same time. I would say those are two different things. And you can be a really good writer, or you could be a really good and I'm not saying forever, but I'm saying especially when you're like starting the thing. And it feels like you're doing a whole bunch of things simultaneously that are just sort of like early stages and all these different things. Where did this personality come from?
I don't actually know. I would say, I guess growing up in the sport of gymnastics, you're always pushed to be perfect and good at everything. We have 4 events and you had to be perfect at all 4 in order to win. So I think the fact that I did so many years of gymnastics and competitive gymnastics, it just made me into the person I am today.
And how do you think through what you want to take on? Because these are not even like similar interests. No, it's not like you're going to be like a photographer, an airline pilot, and then you're also going to be a creator and a writer. So how do you choose what you go after?
Well, I don't really choose. I just kind of fall into it. Or also, I have like a little spark of curiosity. You know, like I always actually no, I hated reading because I had problems with reading, but in Ireland, I picked up a book. It was like at this free library, right? I picked up a book. It was Rick Riordan. It was Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Yeah. And that's where my like curiosity for books started. And then for being a pilot, my dad was a pilot, or he still is a pilot, and I've always loved traveling. I always grew up traveling and moving, so I love flying. And then content creation is just something that started out of boredom. I was like,
But you follow your curiosity.
yeah, I follow it. Yeah, that can be dangerous. Like, it can be really dangerous because you can kind of get lost. And sometimes I feel like I get lost because I have too many hobbies. You know, I also do archery. So I love,
Oh my God, I didn't. Okay, so apparently Google didn't pick that up.
yeah, not many people know that, but I like baking. My dream for the longest time was to be a professional like baker, have my own bakery.
Really?
Yeah. But then I was like, what is something that I'm really good at and love, you know? And that was flying. So that's why I want to be an airline pilot.
Have you thought about like how you spread your time across all these different things? Like, how do you figure out what's like the most important and gets the most time versus what's like a nice hobby, right?
Yeah, I think deadlines, like I'm in school, right? I'm a sophomore. I'm getting a degree in aviation. So, well, right now I'm taking 2 classes, but on Friday I have my finals. So I'm like, these deadlines, they're coming up. I have to prioritize that, and then I can focus on all the other things.
And I think that actually one thing that I've thought about this a lot and I want your opinion on it. You are such like you have so many diverse interests and different interests. And I actually think that if you can prioritize the things that are the most important, it's actually very good to have many interests. I think it makes you a better creator. I think it just makes you a more interesting person. The only downside is like when you have all these hobbies and interests, if they take up too much of your time, then it takes away from like the main thing or the most important thing, right? Do you feel, because I believe this, I think that most content creators get so obsessed with their content, they do like nothing else except like working content, but then their content actually starts to suffer because they don't have a life. But you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't have a thing that brings them inspiration.
100%.
I think that's why I have so many hobbies, because all these different things bring like inspiration to me and they encourage me to try new things. And then if I suck at those things, then sometimes I'm like, well, I really like this, I'm going to keep trying, you know, and then I can actually incorporate it in my content, you know. Like I loved gardening during the summer, so I made videos about gardening. Those videos did pretty well, but it also brings a whole other audience, you know, to my channel, and I think that really helps.
Going back to when this first started going really well. So you had your first viral video, that was like the surgery video, correct?
Well, the first one was a Taylor Swift
And then the
edit,
second one was like the surgery video? Okay.
yeah.
You went from 0 to 100,000 subscribers in basically your first month of consistent posting.
Yeah.
Outside of that one viral video, if somebody's just getting off the ground now and just starting, you mentioned consistency. What does that actually look like? Because I think we probably believe the same. You shouldn't chase virality. So then what is the formula? Like, I mean, this book is answering the question how to grow YouTube, right?
Basically, yeah.
So what is your recommendation when somebody asks, like, where do I go? How do I get started? How many posts? Like all this.
Yeah, I think just don't overthink it. I talked to someone, she was starting her YouTube channel, and she was like I feel like I don't like how I touch my hair in this video. Like, how should I put the caption? Should I put any hashtags? I'm like, girl, you're overthinking it. Just post it. Just do it. You know, you have to get yourself out there and don't overthink it. But I think when you're starting out, just focus on being true to yourself, following what you want to post, you know, and also posting consistently. Like, it doesn't have to be 7 times a day. Like, I just do that because it works for me, you know, but you can post like twice a day or even twice a week, you know,
How do you keep up with that though?
7 times a day. I have a schedule. I also have a book. So it's a book full of ideas. I can show you. And I just write down, usually, like, random ideas just come to my brain and I just write it down. And then throughout the day, I'm like, oh, I have time to do this. So I just mark it off and I record the video.
And like, do you edit and everything?
Yeah, I edit all my videos.
But like, you can do like 7 edits a day.
Yeah. I
Actually?
also,
Like
yeah.
for real?
Yeah, like for
You don't
real.
have like people that
People
help?
who work with me. No, I do have a long form editor who helps me with my long form,
Yeah.
but I only post like one long form video a month.
Okay, so like I know how much time it takes to edit because I've done it. So how do you get through like 7 videos in a day? Because okay, so anybody who's listening is like, that is an insane amount of editing, right? For somebody that's never really even edited one video before. I mean, just to be a little bit more strategic and tactical, like, do you batch stuff? Are there certain tools you use that help you out? Like, or is the future of social media right now maybe less edited and maybe you don't have to do as much?
Okay, I think that's a very interesting question. First off, I do batch stuff. Like, okay, I don't know why, but this is how my brain works. If I have a donut, I'll record 3 videos of that donut because I feel guilty of eating a donut instead of like a salad or something, you know? And I'm like, well, I have to get something good out of this. So I will make a video or 3 videos, you know?
So you justify eating the donut because it helps you create content.
It helps me
Okay,
create
I like
content.
that.
Yeah, it motivates me to create content. And or like if I have a nice outfit on, I'll maybe like make 5 or 6 videos with that outfit just because I don't dress up every day, you know? So I kind of batch create, but I don't post all of the same videos on the same day.
So it's like and then you have your notebook. So you are constantly like, just as a creator, you're constantly just like looking for different ideas and inspiration.
And the social media industry is constantly coming up with new things, so you can always go on to that trend, you know, that viral thing.
That's a really interesting idea. So when you notice something that's trending and viral, you will try and recreate it, and it still works as well as.
Yeah, because I add my own little twist to it. So basically, I remember this one trend. It was like, everybody tells me like I'm CG5 or something, probably because
I feel like
am
I'm too old for this.
CG5. No, it's okay. It's just like a viral audio. And I was like, well, everyone was doing it, right? And they were all doing it the same way, you know? Like, people are like, oh, you look 20, but I'm actually 15 or whatever.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
Yeah, so I added somebody's comment and it was like, you're in college? I thought you were 16. And I was like, probably because I am 16, you know? But yeah, so it's like I add my own little twist to trends.
But you don't, but I'm assuming like, so you batch create, you're always looking for inspiration, you're like writing it down, you're constantly just, everything you do is like an idea.
Yeah.
It's like you like almost like you just like start to look for ideas everywhere you go.
Yeah. Well, it's not like I look for it. It just comes to my brain. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's also the reason why it's so important to just start and to start posting, because then you start to think in content.
Yes, exactly. You start thinking like an entrepreneur.
So you post 6, 7 videos per day on a good day. Do you ever worry that something's going to flop?
Oh yeah, it flops all the time.
And you don't care?
No, I don't.
You take it down?
No, I don't take it down because like in the long run, it's going to go viral. Like I had this one video, it got 50,000 views the day that I posted it, and then it got 50,000 views. Oh, like it stayed at 50,000 views for the rest of the month. But then 2 months later, I saw that one of my videos was going viral and had 6 million views. I was like, what is this video? And I was like, wait, that's the video that flopped. Because I left it on there, it went on to people's feeds and it just went viral again.
So
it just went viral.
Yeah, it went viral. Yeah, so then like whatever, a month later, 2 months later, it got massive reach.
Yeah, it worked.
So everything you're saying is just like people overthink content.
Yeah, they do.
Basically, that's
People
like,
overthink. You just gotta do it. Like, I cannot stress that enough.
you know what's wild? Do you know who Graham Stephan is? Have you? He's a finance YouTuber. That's why. But he is.
Does he have 2 daughters?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know his whole family. I just.
Okay.
I just.
Okay.
But I don't think he has daughters. It doesn't matter. The whole point is, like, he. I don't know if it's still his strategy. And he's a big. He has a couple million. Doesn't have as many as you, but he has like a million, 2 million, 3 million. I don't know. But he gets so. He's very careful about what he posts on YouTube. He's very careful because he feels. This is a while back, so I don't know if he still feels this way, but he feels that YouTube is a very unforgiving platform compared to like a TikTok. Like TikTok, he was saying that each video is judged independently of the other one. So if you post one on TikTok, it go viral. Post another one, it sucks. Fine. Post third one, it goes viral. He thought that on YouTube in particular, if you post bad content, then like your whole channel gets like penalized. You don't feel that's the case?
Not really, because I think my audience is more there for me than for my content. Like, they just want to see what I do on a daily basis, you know? And I'm really proud of the community I've grown. Like, I love my fans, and we have so many similarities because I post what I like. You know, I post aviation videos, I post school videos, comedy skits, stuff about my faith, you know, and the people that like that kind of content also like me because I'm similar to them.
So you just post what you like, and
What
then
I
you build
like,
an
yeah.
audience around that.
Exactly, yeah.
So you were speaking at Vid Summit, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
I also know that you're like taking, I think, some public speaking lessons
Classes, yeah,
to
right
kill it
now,
on
yeah,
stage.
yeah.
But you were good. I was listening to it. So you speak about viral videos, but again, not from the perspective of try and be viral, but like build systems that create viral videos and build systems that sort of support your workflow and whatnot. Because viral is about systems, like not luck. So we've spoken a little bit about how you think about content, how you write down ideas, how you just post and you keep learning and learning and learning. You focus on trends, what else is part of your content system?
I think like my schedule works around content creation. So like I wake up at 5 a.m. I start studying until noon, and then from noon to like 2 p.m. I have lunch with my family and stuff, and then that's when I start recording videos. But when I record videos, I always want it to be intentional. You know, I want it to have a purpose. I want it to serve a purpose. And like my faith videos, I'll make it so that I can spread the good news, you know? But then other videos, like videos about my schoolwork, I want to post those videos so that I can motivate other people to keep on studying.
Quick question. What's your go-to when you got 10 minutes before a meeting or a workout? For me, it just used to be whatever I could grab, which usually meant skipping meals entirely or just grabbing something that left me crashing an hour later because it was just full of garbage. That's why I'm partnering with Huel. This black edition, ready to drink, is a complete meal. So it has 35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 35 essential vitamins and minerals. It is no sugar added, gluten-free, under $5. I always keep a few of these in my fridge, and honestly, it solved the whole back-to-back meetings, go, nonstop, no time to eat problem super well. And this one's new for me. It's Huel's Daily Greens. I had the blueberry this morning. Honestly, first impression, it was way better than I expected. It's developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians. There are 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods, only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, and just 1 gram of sugar. I throw one back first thing before my morning calls every single morning. Look, if you're running a business, time is the most valuable asset. Huel makes healthy eating simple, and they also just launched into Target stores nationwide, so you can get it everywhere. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with my exclusive code SCOTT at Huel.com/Scott. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with my exclusive code SCOTT. SCOTT at Huel.com/Scott. Use my code, fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show. That is Huel.com/Scott. They really make healthy living taste amazing. Even if you're on the go, healthy eating, healthy lifestyle doesn't have to taste bad. It doesn't have to suck. NetSuite is a success story partner. Now, what does the future hold for business? If you ask 9 experts, you'll get 10 answers. Bull market, bear market, rates are up, rates are down. At the end of the day, it'd just be easier if somebody invented a crystal ball. But until then, over 43,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the number #1 AI cloud ERP that brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one unified platform. Here's what I love about it. Instead of juggling multiple systems, you get one source of truth, real-time insights and forecasting that actually let you peer into the future with actionable data. When you're closing your books in days instead of weeks, you're spending less time looking backwards and more time focusing on what's next. Whether your company is earning millions or hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you tackle immediate challenges while seizing your biggest opportunities. If I needed this product in my business, this is what I'd use. It's a game changer for business visibility and control. If you want to see how AI can transform your financial operations, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning for free. That's netsuite.com/Scott Clary. That's netsuite.com/Scott Clary. netsuite.com/Scott Clary. So you just pick stuff that's like important to you. That's part of the system. I think that's important too. Like, I think that
Because otherwise, if I chose something that, okay, most people don't know this because I took down all the videos. But when I first started YouTube, I would only make cooking videos because those videos were the ones that did well. But because I hated cooking so much, like my audience started to see that and then they started to like leave, because they saw that I didn't find joy in making content for them, because it's just cooking. And then I was like, you know what? I have to do something that I actually like. Otherwise, I'm going to be burnt out. So I started posting comedy skits and stuff that I actually like. And since then, I haven't really been burnt out.
that's so interesting. So your audience could actually pick up. You were just like chasing
Yeah,
a
my
trend.
emotions. Yeah. Yeah.
Did they you notice it like being, because like I know cooking videos used to be huge, and I think they probably still are, right? But you noticed that even though you were a good creator, because you were doing them just because you felt like you had to, they were not resonating.
Yeah. Every single time I post something that it's more like I have to, they can tell that like I didn't want to
That's
post the
wild,
video.
eh?
I know. Yeah.
That's so crazy how they can like feel it.
Yeah, maybe. Or like,
Yeah.
and also like the way I am in the videos, usually I'm always super smiley or, super enthusiastic. But if they feel that something's off, they're going to be like, I don't want to watch this. I want to watch you have fun.
That's so interesting. What's something about YouTube growth that people get wrong?
Most people think that they're going to go viral as soon as they start. And I'm like, no, it's a process. I think it's really interesting the fact that I started going viral the same month I started posting consistently, but that was, I don't know why, I don't know how that happened. I think YouTube is more like a process and it's not going to be like straight up. As soon as you start, it's going to be like up and down, up and down. It's like a roller coaster. It's like life.
I guess the question that a lot of people would have is, how do I know if I'm just going through a process, or how do I know if I'm creating content that's just not good or not working, right? Because I don't want somebody to do 10 years of content that they're not happy with, and they're like, well, I'm just going through a process, and over time so how do you gauge? Because like you found like the fit for your content very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
So what's the thing you look for when somebody's starting out? Like, I've been doing this for 3 years. I'm not getting traction. Is it because I haven't done it long enough, or is it because I haven't just pivoted and switched into something new?
Yeah, maybe you just haven't found what really works for you. You haven't found the right audience, but there are so many audiences out there. Like, there are so many different people on social media and they're all looking for different types of content. So you're bound to find your audience. I think you just have to keep posting. And then if you see that your videos are genuinely not doing well, then I think it's time to pivot and try something else.
That's smart. And I mean, this is what you were doing with your cooking content.
Cooking content, yeah. Yeah, I was getting bored of it. And then I was like, I have to find something that I love. Otherwise, this is only going to last 2 months.
I just wish more people would like get out of their own head when they start posting content.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Because there's two groups of people, right? There's actually three groups. I'd say there's people that are successful at content. There's people that are too scared to start. And there's people that love themselves and their content so much that they never pivot. And I think that's also not a great group of people either. Like, I think you do have to like not have an ego when it comes to content.
Yes, definitely.
Because I think that's listen, ego is also bad. Just because you love something, you have to make sure that like the audience loves it
too,
to a degree.
Because I think as content creators, we're also working as like stewards. We're presenting something to the audience, and if they don't like it, you have to switch.
I'm just interested in sort of the way you just approached life, because you were you were homeschooled, all right? So you're in college at 16. Uh, you obviously have a lot of opinions about school, about just like how to tackle stuff in life that you're passionate about. We sort of touched on like how you like look at different hobbies and projects, but talk to me about like school and homeschooling and so like some of the experiences that you had that allowed you to be successful, because I think that obviously whatever happened, whatever your parents did in your life to, homeschool you, it's obviously worked out. It's obviously worked out. So this will sort of give people a little more context for your life and how you were raised and whatnot, and sort of what's led to you being who you are today. So you were pulled out of school at a young age, correct?
Yeah, I was pulled out of school in second grade because I had a learning deficiency in reading comprehension.
Which is wild to think. Fast forward,
Yeah,
like
yeah, fast
what you've
forward.
become, and talk to me about like, okay, so what do you think allowed you to become successful through a homeschooling environment? Like, and maybe this could be a lesson for parents too, because you've sort of gone through this.
Yeah, I think my parents are definitely a big part of why I'm successful today because they've always been there to support me in any decision that I made. And they were also there to say, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. You could try something else. They were there to keep me in line. But yeah, I was taken out of school in second grade. I loved school, but I was not excelling in reading comprehension just because I couldn't understand what I was reading. So my mom's actually a special education teacher who specializes in gifted children. So, and autistic children. But so she took me out and my brother out of school and she started homeschooling us. And we did year-round homeschooling. So basically, we study year-round. We don't get a summer break. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're so advanced in school and why I'm in college today.
Um, do you think there's benefits to homeschooling versus traditional?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a lot more innocent than kids these days.
That's a good thing. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. It's a very good thing.
Um, and also I feel like I've been given so many more real life opportunities than kids in school. Like the fact that I'm homeschooled, I was able to live in different countries, like Ireland. I lived in Hawaii for a month, but
But no, but you get to explore and like experience the world.
yeah, exactly, the real world.
I think there's a lot that's like sort of broken with traditional education. I think that, and I just want to like, you can have a comment on it or not, doesn't matter to me. But I think that forget about, you know, fixing the whole educational system, which is a difficult thing to do. What were the things that you focused on in a homeschooling environment that you think gave you the biggest advantage? Because I think there's a lot of stuff in traditional school. It's good, but I don't think it actually sets you up for the real world. I think you are like very well positioned for the real world, for building a business, for being an entrepreneur, for being successful, for taking chance. Um, so what did you focus on when you were homeschooled?
I think finding what you wanted to do when you grew up, like I think it was in second grade when my mom started homeschooling me. She was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" So we can focus your education on that. So if you want to become a doctor, we'll sign you up for programs that help you become a doctor. And because I was like, "Oh, I want to be an airline pilot." Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be an airline pilot. So I did discovery flights. I learned that you don't only have to like be an airline pilot, you also have to be a meteorologist. You have to know the weather.
So you were doing all this stuff like as like very young.
Growing up, yeah. And we also didn't do like in school you do like science, like chemistry and all that kind of stuff because that's not gonna like
Translate into
translate
anything
into
you want to
yeah.
do.
I never did chemistry, which is interesting. I know it's
Yeah, but I mean, like then you focus on stuff that actually benefits you.
yes, exactly, yeah.
No, I think it's smart. I think that we're kind of like on the same page. Like it's so funny because homeschooling was actually not really now I think it's a little bit more popular. And I don't have kids. I want kids someday, hopefully soon, but I don't have kids yet. But um I don't have an issue with traditional school. I just feel like it doesn't cover everything.
Right. It could do so much better.
I think so. And I think that even maybe you found this, how much you've learned through building a business and through being a YouTuber and through being a creator in terms of like skills that will set you up for the real world. So I want you to tell me like what you feel, but I think that as you've become this creator and this business owner, which it is a business, like these skills will help you in so many other things if you choose to not become a creator at some point in your life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't want to be a business owner. Like, I didn't want a YouTube channel, but I think the fact that I did start a YouTube channel has made me into a very like a very educated person. You know, I know how important it is to not give up and to always show up, and that's something that you have to do in like regular jobs, you know, like a 9 to 5, for example.
100%. But you understand, like, you're not even giving yourself enough credit. Like, you understand how impressive it is to be able to capture attention. Like, this is we could have a conversation about marketing. You can capture attention in a way where like millions of people are interested in what you do.
I think I like that that blows my mind. I don't even know how I do it. You know, like I don't know how I went.
Yeah, but you figured it out. I think that
I
you're
figured
being, I think that
yeah.
I think that you're selling yourself short. I think you actually do know how to do it. Not in like a, oh, it's like such an easy strategy and you do this step 1, step 2, step 3. It's not like that. It's like you just know how to bring yourself onto a screen and to communicate with somebody. That's a very useful skill.
It is a very useful skill.
It's an incredibly useful skill.
Thank you.
I'm serious. It's an incredibly useful skill. Like you have to understand what you've built. Like you really have to understand it. Like, okay, so if we actually go through numbers, like you're just coming up on like 5 million total audience, like billions and billions of views. Do you know how, like, I'll tell you a story because my audience is not as big as yours, not even a fraction. But when you realize the amount of people who like consume your content, it actually like blows your mind a little bit. And I'm curious if you had this experience at Vid Summit because I only really understood how many people consume my content when I stood in front of like 1,000 people, and you're like, that's 1,000 people. That's not even that many in social media. Like, I mean, like people who just start and they post their first reel, they get 1,000 views. Do you know what 1,000 people looks like in real life?
It's crazy. I've seen a stadium. It's like 100,000 people. I'm like, the fact that I almost have 1 million is insane.
I know. And every day and multiple times a day.
It's crazy. And like some people, like I've heard people, they're like, oh, it's just a number on the screen. Don't focus on that number. But it isn't just a number on a screen. There are people behind that number. There's a person behind that screen. And the fact that people are consuming your content, I think it's very important that you have to keep it clean, you know, and you have to be a good content creator.
Yes, I think that too many people just look for like hacks or clickbait or like, and I see like good creators and I don't like it. I mean, I see good creators that just sort of hop on trends. They just hop on trends that are like kind of like negative trends and stuff like that, or like, and they get clicks. And I'm like, but like I mean, I know there's a million different types of content, but like what value are you giving the world? If you like if you make your content and your views off like hating on someone else.
Yeah. It's you're not being a good person. You're not being a good content creator. And what purpose does that serve to the world?
I agree. I think that most people, I think that it's unfortunate because I think that people just assume that to get clicks and views, you have to be like controversial.
Yeah, it's controversial. Yeah.
But like not at all. Like you are like the least controversial creator ever. Like you, I think so. I really think, listen, okay. I think that most of your content from what I've seen is like very positive, very uplifting, not controversial at all. I know that now you like bring your faith into your content as well.
I think that's one of the things that makes me a little bit more controversial, but it's not the fact that like I'm not trying to put my religion down their throats. It's just like I want to see you in heaven too, you know, like
I like that
like
vibe. That's a good vibe.
Thank you.
I also think it's interesting because I'm curious. Like you were not religious at all when you first started content, or you didn't bring it into the content?
Well, so my grandmother was a Catholic nun, so I grew up in a kind of religious household, but she would always go to church. I never went to church, you know? But then recently, like my life took like a 160, you know, like changed completely.
Like after that, was it the shoulder injury? Was
Yeah,
it
the
like
shoulder injury. Yeah. It was, like in gymnastics as well. I was kind of like getting towards the end of my career. I medically retired this past summer. But yeah, my life completely changed, and that's when I found the Lord, and that's when I was like I started when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't say anything about like God and stuff. But then like when the Lord started changing my life in ways, I was like, I want to share how good he is, and I want to share that with other people.
Explain. So what was the moment? Was it, if you go a level deeper, explain that story. Was it because you saw the thing that you were working towards that you were now forced to leave, but like a new opportunity came? Like what do you mean when he like changed your life?
Changed my life, yeah. Well, I lost a friend to,
I'm sorry.
it's okay, but to like depression, and I realized a lot of teenagers my age were going through these kinds of things, and I was like, like I did not know this because my life was always like rainbows and sunshines. But when I realized that people were actually struggling in the real world, I was like, I have to like do something about this, and that's kind of when I started my YouTube channel, and then the Lord like changed my life. Like I lost all of my friends. I left the gym I was going to, and I got an injury that could have been avoided, but the Lord changed my life and made it so much better, like through YouTube. And that's when I was like, oh, I want to make faith-based content so I can tell other people how good the Lord is. And it's so amazing because you would think, oh, it's not really gonna like affect anybody, but I have people come up to me, like at church, for example. Now they're like, you're the reason why I'm so close to the Lord. I'm like, what? Like that's amazing. Thank you.
I love that. I actually think that like just younger people, not just younger people, just people in general, I think life is not easy for like a lot of people. And there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of very heavy reasons. We don't go into all those, but like I'm like, even if I was going to, look at somebody who's going through high school right now, it's like, 14, 15, 16, maybe they're not worried about the things that like a 30 or 40 or 50 or 60-year-old is worrying about with like cost of living, but they probably feel the effects. Their parents are probably stressed out a little bit or whatever, or it could just be social media and they're always comparing themselves to other people.
Yes, definitely.
I think that like social media algorithms, I mean, social media has given both of us like careers and really interesting lives, but at the same time, it's also like really negative. And I think that, I also try and do a version of what you do with the content where I'm like teaching and I'm like trying to like educate people and like give people sort of a playbook for life, whatever it is we're talking about. We're talking about business, entrepreneurship, content, like learn from somebody who's done it so that you can go do it yourself and hopefully it's valuable.
Exactly. And encourage them.
100%. But that's not all social media. That's obviously not all social media. So I think that people are, like if you look at data, like mental health is like at an all-time low.
Yeah, it's
like in recent history.
Is, yeah.
So you've noticed that when you put out some of this content, like it actually like
uplifted people. Yeah. Yeah. And also like homeschool videos, I post a lot that I was homeschooled my whole life, and how my life was so different from a regular kid. I was at an event. It was like a museum event because we go to a lot of museums and stuff, and this mom comes up to me and she's like, hey, you're JustJules, right? Usually like my fans are like 9 years old. This lady was like maybe in her 40s. And she was like, hey, you're JustJules. I'm like, yes. And she's like, I homeschooled my kids because of you. I'm like, you did what? I was like, no way, but she was like, yeah, homeschooling has helped my kids so much because they are so much more confident because they're not being compared to their peers, and they're not getting bullied. And I was like, wow, that's so amazing,
Indeed is a success story partner. Now, if you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. Let me give you an example. If I needed to hire a new editor for this show, I'd go to Indeed and be super specific. Not just, can you edit audio? I'd say I need someone who's edited a conversational podcast for at least 3 years, gets our style, and knows our software. Someone who's done this before. And here's the thing with Indeed sponsored jobs. I'd get people who fit that description. I'm not digging through resumes from people who've edited one YouTube video. I'm getting actual podcast editors who know what they're doing. People who've worked on shows like ours and can prove it. That's what makes the difference. You get people who actually are what you're looking for. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. And people are finding quality hires right now. In the minute that I've been speaking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all the boxes, less stress, less, less time, and more results now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help you get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/Clary. Just go to Indeed.com/Clary right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Clary. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. HubSpot is a success story partner. Now look, if you're in marketing right now, or if you're an entrepreneur who's hired marketers, or if you're a founder who leads a whole marketing team, you know the drill. You are creating content for 12 different channels. You're launching campaigns. You're scoring leads. You're analyzing all the data. And somewhere in there, you're actually supposed to do great marketing. And it's exhausting and you're spread too thin. But this is what actually works for marketers to give you your life and your time back. HubSpot's Marketing Hub, HubSpot's Content Hub, combined with their new AI called Breeze. Now, what this actually does is basically everything that you shouldn't have to do yourself. It remixes your content instantly, so you're not starting from scratch every single time. It handles lead scoring, so you know exactly who to focus on, which customers will probably convert, and it pulls all your analytics and your data and KPIs into one place instead of having them scattered across 15 different tabs and tools. Plus, the AI agents that HubSpot builds for you can automate the repetitive stuff that's eating away your day. Bottom line, you get better results faster without burning out. See, with HubSpot, everything's connected in one platform instead of duct taped together. So if you're tired of being spread too thin, check out HubSpot.com/marketers to see how this actually works.
That's an angle that I didn't even think of with like the homeschooling. Like when I think homeschooling, I'm thinking of like, okay, like set up a curriculum that like benefits real world experience. You're talking about the fact that like all the mental health problems.
All our personal lives are so much more different from like public school kids.
So
but like in a good way.
You think that's why like you're generally like, you know, like a mentally healthier person because you don't deal with the comparison and like all the negative stuff that comes with.
Yeah. Growing up, like I didn't care. Like I didn't even know what mental health was until like 2 years ago. And like before that, all I cared was about like animals and plants. I would learn about
You were just
like
curious about it, yeah.
jellyfish. Yes, I was curious about the world. And then like when I started surrounding myself like with other kids my age, I realized how like hard their lives were because they were only focusing on the negatives. That's why on my YouTube channel I try to post usually like uplifting and positive videos so I can show people that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You know that it is going to be okay, and if you just focus on the negatives, your life is going to be like horrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you focus on it, that becomes your reality.
Exactly, it just grows.
And it's sad that like high school, and even like younger or older, like it was already this pretty difficult spot for people, but now with social media, it's just like pouring fuel on the fire.
Yeah, and also like I think a lot of my audience also compares themselves to me because I'm always showing that like I'm traveling and my life is perfect. And it is pretty good in real life as well, but I'm studying most of the day, you know, like, and people don't know that. They're like, oh, you should be studying more, you know, you're always traveling. And like my life on social media is only, I would say probably like 35%, you know, the
Of
rest
what the
of
real
it.
life is.
Yeah, exactly. And they're always comparing their 100% like life to my 35%.
Yeah, but you're okay saying that. You're okay being honest about that. I think the biggest issue with social media is when people who they post 10% or 20% of their life, they pretend that that's their whole life. And then you look at them and you're like, well, why can't my life be like that? And why am I not as cool or as rich or as successful or as funny or as good looking? And then there's this comparison game when it's like, it's not real. It's like,
Yeah, but comparison is the thief of joy. And I think that's something that you really have to understand.
what was when you started to include more of this like faith-based Christian content, what was sort of the response? Was it mostly positive?
Yeah, mostly positive. Like a lot of people. Okay, so that's actually a very interesting question. At the beginning, it was like, oh, Jules is Christian too. That's awesome. You know, I'm gonna follow her because she's Christian. And then, like, it was like that up until like kind of recently. I always posted like Bible verses or like praise the Lord, you know. But then recently, I posted this one video. It was like a very biblical video. It was like controversial in the real world because something I learned is that biblical Christianity is not popular, but popular Christianity is not biblical. You know, so yeah. So I posted a video like taking something from the Bible and being like, hey, look at this, you know, and they were like, well, you should do this or that. I can't remember what the video was
But it
about.
was taking something that was like more of like a traditional view on a topic.
Yeah, and because the world is so like modern now, they're like, no, you should do it this way. The world was saying do this, but I was like, no, God says to do this.
Yeah, I know. Listen, religion is like another deep topic and very heavy topic, but like I've said this several times, I think that a society that is like too secular, it does not have like any religion at all, it doesn't, like, to me, it doesn't even matter if it's like old, new, whatever. Like, I think that just like nothing is probably the reason why a lot of people are depressed and have anxiety and are like sad in their lives. I think it's good to, believe that there's something out there that's bigger than you. I think it's a very healthy way to look at life. But that's also interesting how like people look at people who are religious and believe in God and Jesus, or I mean, like if you're a Christian, you believe in God and Jesus and whatnot. There's like different versions within that. But what can you do? You can't keep everyone happy. That's the whole point of content. You can't keep everyone happy, right? And you shouldn't try to.
Yeah, because it's really tiring trying to
No, no kidding.
yeah, keep everyone happy. So I think like what I try to do is just keep myself happy because I'm the one who's actually creating content, and then try to keep the majority of the people happy. I'm not going to make everyone happy because some things that I do, people don't like it. Like the fact that I wear skinny jeans instead of baggy jeans. People don't like that. I know. It was
Actually?
Yeah, people know me. People know me on TikTok as the skinny jeans girl. I'm like, what? These aren't even that skinny. But like,
I didn't realize that was like a point of so when I said you were a non-problematic creator, I'm a liar. Apparently you're like caught in
well, because I guess I'm different, but I'm not afraid to be different. It's okay to be different.
I actually think that a good creator has to be a little bit different, because if you're just like everyone else, you don't stand out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Because I think that when you start, like even when I started this podcast, I would like wear like the suit and I was all like proper and like I was like scared to talk about like, so what I had to learn over 6 years about bringing myself into the conversation and the podcast and being more me and just being like chill, you just figured out in like 3 months. Like this is that.
I think that's also because I was homeschooled, because I didn't care about what the world thought.
That's such a superpower though.
Yeah, it is a superpower, but like my whole world was just like animals and learning as much as I could. Well, I wanted to be a marine biologist. That's why I keep
Oh my
mentioning
God,
animals.
another job.
Well, yeah, because like I was living in Spain at the time, so like I was always next to the beach, But so like my whole world was just learning as much as possible, experiencing as many cultures as I could, And then when I moved to the US, to Florida, I was more like with kids my age, and with kids that went to public school. And I was like, whoa, it's so different. I was like, what is this place?
Yeah, but I mean, like I think that's like why you've been successful, because you've been exposed to so much. By the way, I think that like that's another great, like hats off to parents for like raising you the way that you were raised, because I think that the exposure to different cultures, different people, that is an incredible way to raise kids if you can do it. I get that not everybody can do that because traveling is expensive. I get it, but who's having this conversation with? I can't remember. It was a really cool CEO. Basically, the conversation was about like how to raise kids properly, because this was like a focus that he had. And he said that even if you can't like take your kids abroad, just like expose them to like a different culture, like even in like the same country. Like even if like you're from like New York, like go to like Louisiana, go to like Miami.
And the
like
US is so big, you don't even
you get
have...
everything here.
Yeah,
But if you want it,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I think that's very smart. When you post your content, I know that obviously it's great if it goes viral, but the community you've built, what is like the metric you look for that's not a social media metric? Is it messages saying like how much you've helped them? Is it just like, what is the thing that you look for that that this is a piece that did well, that like changed somebody's life, that uplifted them, that maybe you don't see with just views or shares or comments?
Yeah, I think usually like when they're like, oh, this helped me, or this changed my perspectives. That's one of them that I was like, whoa, I love that. Or also, I used to post a lot when I was going through my surgery and stuff. I posted a lot of videos about my healing journey because I've had 4 surgeries in my life. So I posted a lot of videos about that. And people were like, the fact that you are where you are today is helping me get like pushed through this,
Has your faith really influenced the type of content you make at all? Outside of like the pieces that are talking about faith, has it changed other things about you as a creator?
I think so, definitely, because like my channel, like I don't use any audios that have bad words. And if they do have bad words, I bleep them out. Like I go beep, which is something like iconic now. You know, it's like my thing. So people are always like, oh, that iconic beep, you know? But I think my faith has definitely changed my content.
In what way, or what do you focus on? Is it just because you want to be more positive, more uplifting, or
More family friendly.
more family
Yeah,
friendly?
because even if like a channel is family friendly, or if it's just a girl like talking about fashion or something like that, or like lifestyle, you can tell that like I wouldn't want my 6-year-old watching this, you know, just because maybe they're wearing very sexual clothes, you know, or like they're talking about very controversial things, you know. I try to keep my channel as family friendly as possible, you know.
When you think about like the opportunity for new creators, do you think that where do you think the biggest opportunity is if somebody's like trying to start now? Now I know you're going to say like do what you like doing and create content for yourself, but say there's like 10 different things that somebody can create content about, and they want to create content similar to yours. I'm not talking about like doing like politics or sport. Like they want to like, what should they focus on? Should they focus on family friendly, faith based? Is there even like more of a niche that you feel like people could go after right now that you've seen successful?
Yeah, right now, like for me, the niche that is like most popular, just because I'm a teen girl, is like romance. Which so like boys, when I talk about a boy in a video or something, that usually does pretty well, but like I like to keep my personal life off of social media.
You do.
Yeah. So, or like I share a lot of my personal life on social media. That's probably why my community is so close to me. But like my romance is definitely off of social media until like it's serious, you know.
I appreciate that. Is there like certain things that you definitely don't bring onto social? Do you bring family? Do you bring?
I bring family, like I bring my siblings into videos, and they also have their own YouTube channels, which they're trying to grow.
So you don't mind bringing family, and obviously because there are other creators, but is there things that you definitely don't outside of just like romantic?
I'm trying to think. Like there definitely has to be something like, oh, when when my family is going through tough times financially, for example, you know, or like we're not getting along very well.
Yeah. So like the stuff that is like,
Just family matters.
I think that's smart though. I think that being authentic doesn't mean bringing everything into it and like trauma dumping online.
Exactly, yeah, trauma dumping. Yeah, I get what you mean.
You know what I mean? I think that you can be like strategically authentic, and I think that listen, you could talk about things that happen that are like difficult. Like even if you had like an argument or a family thing happen, like maybe there's like a lesson from there, but that like comes up, like there has to be like a delay. It has to be like, give it like a year before you bring that stuff up online.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, actually, so one time it was in Spain, but my mom, like I don't know how it came up, but my mom basically like lectured me on something, and I took a lesson from that. I was like, this is very, very smart. I'm gonna make a video out of this. So I made a video, and people were like, wow, the fact that you went from like this lecture, you took out this good thing from it and you put it on social media, you know, it's so rewarding.
and you're just taking the things that happen in your life. Again, it's like you just look for what's happening in your life, you bring it into the content.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are 16, you have 5 million subscribers. What is life like? Do you get recognized places? Is it stressful?
So there are pros and cons to the social media world, and like the pros are you get so many opportunities. You know, I've been able to go to Web Summit, and I was able to speak in front of a large audience. You know, I've been able to do so many things because of social media, and I've also made so many amazing friendships because I'm a YouTuber, you know. But obviously the cons are like I have like older men watching me, and that's a little bit, you know, like it's definitely something you have to be aware of, because it kind of controls how much you put on social media, you know, like you have to respect your privacy, you know, your personal life. So because I share so much of my personal life, I also have to be aware of the dangers, you know, that I'm putting this information out there for the world to see, the entire world.
I know, and it's a lot of them, a lot of people, like 5 million. That's what's tough, right? Like when you put yourself out there, listen, in a group of 5 million people, some of them are going to be like a little bit weird. Like and I think that that's where you have to be I mean, obviously, like you work with your parents, like they're on board with this whole thing you're building out. So I'm sure that like you're very careful about who you connect with, like who you work with. Like,
I think you just have to be aware of it though, you know. Yeah, and also something like a lot of people don't know about this, like about my content strategy, is I post all of my content 2 weeks after recording it. So like I went right now, in theory, on social media, I'm in Lisbon, Portugal, but I went to Lisbon 2 weeks ago.
and by the time this comes out, you'll be somewhere else in the world. Exactly.
Probably, yeah. But so that's just kind of like a safety thing, you know, so that if somebody's trying to find me based off of my content, they can't find me because
Have you had scares?
not really. Like I've had creepy men like email me and like find my number, but apart from that,
People are very weird. Most of your friends now, I'm assuming, are creators, correct?
yeah.
So talk to me about sort of like your peer group, your support group, like how you guys work together. I'm assuming this is like anybody who's looking to create content. This is probably a smart strategy to surround yourself with
Other content creators, yeah. So like growing up, I didn't have that many friends because I moved around so much and I was homeschooled. So I didn't really, well, that's also a thing that most people going into homeschooling are like kind of like because they're like, how are you gonna be able to have friends or socialize with other kids your age? And I did socialize with a lot of kids my age because of gymnastics, but apart from that, I didn't really socialize with anybody. I usually socialize with my parents' friends, you know, so that's
So you just have like, you have more mature, cooler friends than the average
more
kid.
mature,
Yeah.
more mature friends, yeah. So now that I'm in college, I have a lot of college-aged friends. So like my friends all are in the like 20s. They're in the 20s. But I can really, you know, I can resonate with them, you know, and I can communicate with them on a level that a regular 16-year-old cannot, you know?
How important is, outside of like just like the college friends, do you have like a group of like creators that you
Yeah. So I don't have any college friends because I do online college. Like I've been doing,
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
the 20-year-olds you're talking about are like other creators
they're
or
content creators, yeah.
okay.
But they're in their college years, you know, yeah. So like my best friends, Angelo Bahu and Jenny Oyos, they're like my closest friends because we live super close to each other. But they're my content creator friends. I think they're like my first content creator friends, or actually my first ever content creator friend is Maxwell Gamer. He has like 1 million subscribers, or sorry, 3 million subscribers. But we started creating content in 2024, so like after I blew up, or like when I was blowing up, and people actually shipped me with him, and we were like, it was the first time meeting each other, and people were already shipping us because I guess we like
Wait, what does that mean?
shipping us. So like they basically thought we looked cute together as a couple. So they were like,
So it's like they're like saying like you guys should be together?
yeah, you guys should date. Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Really?
No, I've never heard the
Word
I'm
ship?
old. I've never heard the
No,
word
it's-
shipping. Like,
I didn't know that until like when I got shipped. You know, I was like, ship? Like, what do you mean in a
so
like,
people
wooden
find two
crate?
content creators that they think would be like good, and like doesn't matter if they even like want to date. It's like you two would be good together.
Yes, and
The
then they
internet's
ship-
wild.
Yeah, it is wild. It is wild. And like Maxwell and I didn't even really know each other at that time. You know, it was our first time meeting up, but people were shipping us, and then the good thing about shipping though, like online shipping, that just sounded weird, but it helps both of your guys' channels because it like people are excited about the next thing you post, you know. But yeah, so I was shipped with him, and then we didn't see each other until like later that year. But then I met Angelo and I met Jenny, and then I met Angelo's sister Mariah, who's also a content creator. But so I met them, and then now I have this friend group which I love. They're so amazing. We've got a couple of different content creators, and we all make such like different types of content. Like one of them does cooking videos, or one of them goes to restaurants and tastes food, you know. The other one does beauty, one of them does challenges, you know. They all do these different things, but because we're all content creators, we all like resonate and we understand each other on a deeper level.
Do you collab a lot?
Yeah, I mean, with Angela and Jenny, I see them the most often, so we collab.
But it helps to grow a channel to do like these collabs.
Yeah, and also when you there are multiple events throughout the year, so like VidCon and VidSummit. I went to VidSummit in 2024, and I actually met one of my best friends. His name is Brody Bowling. I was also shipped with him a lot, but he's actually one of my closest friends now.
So it's like it's all about like collaboration, and then I'm assuming these people push you to create better, create more. Do you bounce ideas off each other?
Yeah, sometimes. Or like last year, for example, Jenny, Angela, and I like met up and we were like, what are our goals for next year? You know, we told each other our goals so that we could push each other to achieve those, you know?
So like the lesson is like you don't have to create on your own. You don't have to be like, some loner creating content. Like go find people that are creating too, go create with them.
Yeah. If you want to change the world, you have to get a team. You know, you have to make friends.
It's wild to me how you are 16 and you know all this stuff that is 100% true when there's like 40-year-old adults who don't get it yet. But anyways, that's a whole other thing.
Thank you.
But yes. Why? Like I hate the line like self-made, because no one's self-made. It doesn't exist. It doesn't matter if you have like a team, a partner, customers, investors. Like you didn't just like make a business with nothing else. Even if you built the business yourself. I mean, what, you don't have an employee? You have a customer? How do you build a business with a customer? What do you mean self-made? Somebody had to buy your stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You had people working for you and helping you. Yeah.
No one's self-made. What would be advice to, I mean, like, how old are people now when they start content? I was going to say a younger content creator, but I'm assuming people start very young.
Yeah, like I think like most of my friends, they started when they were 10 or like 14. You know, like
10?
in their
Like,
10.
what was I doing when I was 10?
Especially if you want to start, if you know that you want to do content creation, you start really early, you know?
So the question really was, what was the advice for somebody who's just getting started, who's 10? Because there's now, it's not just the creator. You're speaking to the creator who's 10 to 14 plus their parents at that stage, right? So what's your advice for somebody who's like, I want to be a content creator? Parents listening to this be like, oh my God, I just wanted to have like a doctor or a lawyer. I didn't know.
Yeah, a YouTuber. No, I get what you mean.
So what's your advice to them? How do they pick a topic? What should the parents think about? What's sort of like the playbook for somebody who's just getting started?
I think topic, just choose something that you love, because if you don't choose something that you love, you're going to be doing something you hate for the rest of your career. And like you can like switch your content, but that's really hard because you already have an audience that's there for that content, for that specific content. But for the parents, don't set unrealistic expectations on your child, because even though they're trying to do this, it's not guaranteed that they will succeed, you know, just like with anything else. But don't put too much pressure on yourself and just keep going and never give up.
Is there something that you wish you knew when you first started creating content that you know now?
I mean, I feel like there is, but I think it would just be that it's not a straight line. It's going to go up and down, up and down. You're going to have really bad months or like a really bad year where your content's not doing good. And then you're going to have other years where you're popping off, you know, you're doing really good. But just know that in these moments that there is going to be a better time, you know?
Yeah. If you just that's the thing, like keeping up with it.
Yeah.
If you look to the future, see yourself at 25 years old. So where do you want to be when you're 25? Do you still want to be a content creator? Do you want to be, or are you like, that was a great part of my life. I've already retired from gymnastics. I'm going to retire from YouTube. I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to be a photographer. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Well, so I retired gymnastics not because I wanted to. I'm medically retired. Yeah. But I do want to be a content creator as long as I possibly can, because the YouTube community is just so incredible and it gives you so many opportunities. So I want to be a content creator as long as possible. But when I turn 20, I want to get hired at LATAM Chile, which is an airline in South America, because I'm also Chilean. So I want to be a pilot. That's like my main goal. It always has been. It always will be. But what you said about photographer, like that was like, growing up, we were always told to have plan A, plan B, plan C, you know, just in case plan A totally like
doesn't work.
Yeah, it totally explodes. So plan A is to become an airline pilot. Plan B is to become a news reporter, because I love the news. I love watching the news and I love podcasts and I love reading books and all this kind of stuff. But news reporter or photographer for National Geographic, because I love animals. And then plan C is join the military. So join the Air Force.
I feel like I'm sure whatever you do is going to work out. I have no doubt. Mostly because of who you are and like the fact that you get after it, and you probably, it's so funny. You have like 4 different plans, but I don't feel like you have the personality to let anything not work.
Oh, thank you.
I'm serious. I feel like you're just like, you know what? Like it's nice you have like 4 plans, but like I feel like plan A works because you don't stop until it does.
Until, yeah.
But that's just a personality thing. And if you don't have that personality, like I think it's a good, personality to try and adopt. Like YouTube, anybody can be a YouTuber, anybody can be a creator if they want to. What does it take? Well, you build systems, you figure out what you want to create, you post 60 pieces a week. You'll figure out how to be a YouTuber real quick if you're posting 60 videos a week. Trust, like you'll figure it out. You'll figure out what works, what doesn't, what you like, what you don't like, what resonates, what gets views, what gets subs, what gets follows, whatever. Uh, how do you evolve your content?
Oh, that's actually a very interesting question. I usually just like, okay, I didn't always do, yeah, I didn't always, I'm trying to think of something that I didn't always do that now I do a lot and I put into my content.
Well, you've moved your, you've moved your content forward. You've added faith, you've added more of your life, you've added different topics, blah, like, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, like, as you grow older,
How am I gonna like, so next year I'll start training for my PPL, which is my private pilot's license. So I'll definitely do a lot more flying content, and also I want to publish books and I want to travel more and I want to do so many other things. I have a whole list on my phone. It's like,
seriously,
yeah, my 2026 New Year's resolution list, and every year I come up with this resolution list, of things I want to achieve. And my content, like my channel, like I just bring them along, I just bring them along on.
And then grow with you.
Exactly, yeah.
When you think about sort of as a creator, you're branching out into different things. So tell me your growth on YouTube. Because I know I was just looking at a little chart, but you went from 0 to 5 million more or less in how long?
2 years.
2 years, which is insane growth, right? Very successful. It worked. When you try and do like a new type of content, how do you think you're writing a book? This is your book. Where are my YouTubers? That's the book. It's going to be out when this podcast is live. That's a new type of content. If you sell 5 million books in 2 years, incredible, right? That's an insane amount of books.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if it's going to happen, but like if it does, good. But when you think about a new type of content, because you got really good at one, how do you figure out how to do another one successfully?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think about like success.
You don't, you just do it.
I just do it, yeah, because I think when you think about success and how to be successful, you put this like standard or this thing you have to live up to, and that kind of like makes you feel pressured into doing it, so like I want my book to be successful, but if it's not successful, it's okay. I'm going to try again and I'm going to write another book, but I think when you're like, oh, how can I be, like when you're just starting out and you're like, how can I be successful? I think that's the wrong mindset. You should be more like, how can I grow to be successful?
Okay, so if people want to connect with you, obviously, where are my YouTubers? That's going to be available everywhere you can get books, Amazon, other socials that you want to drop. So YouTube,
my TikTok.
Where do you want to send people?
Yeah, TikTok is JustJules, and YouTube is JustJules, Instagram is JustJules, and I also have Snapchat, so JustJules. Everything's JustJules.
You've taught a lot on this podcast, but if you think of the most important things that you've learned in your own life, the things that have been like the most meaningful to you, and it doesn't have to be about content, it can be about content, faith, work ethic, I don't care, anything. What's like one lesson that you want to pass on to your kids and why?
To forgive, I think, because like as a gymnast, I was always really hard on myself because I always wanted to be perfect. I always wanted to get that 10, that's perfect score. But I learned to forgive myself, especially when I make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner, and I'm like really hard on myself on that. But I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so successful. But at the same time, if you don't forgive yourself and if you don't forgive other people, you're just going to lead a miserable life. You're always going to be holding grudges, and it's just your soul is just going to get heavier.